Hello YouTube, I'm Pilot Stud and welcome back to part 2 of all airliners coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now I didn't actually expect to make this video, but it turns out I missed quite a few aircraft that are coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I thought I'd make another video, and seeing as the last one was so popular, I think there's a perfect reason to. Now once again guys, disclaimer, this is not every single aircraft coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's the ones that have been confirmed with screenshots or messages from the developers. I've used your guys' feedback to find ones that I missed out, as well as looking around quite a bit more, and I found some certainly interesting ones. There's a lot more airliners in here guys, so you guys can stay tuned for that one. If you're new around here, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I do flight sim videos like this all the time. But now let's get into this video. Okay, so an interesting aircraft that I'm pretty excited for, although it hasn't got too much news on it, is the Majestic software -8 Q400, which will be coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator in the future. Now sadly, we haven't got any release dates at all for this. We've barely got any screenshots. We've just got a message of intent from Majestic software saying they're working on this. Now the Bombardier -8 Q400 is of course a turboprop aircraft, a very unique aircraft, seeing as we don't have too many turboprops in the sky anymore. They were around here used most by Flybe. Flybe went bankrupt and yeah, they got put into administration, but now they're apparently coming back, so I mean it might be fitting. Now I'd imagine we won't see the Majestic software -8 Q400 for quite a while, maybe 1 or 2 years, purely because we haven't got too much news on it, and the way the software development kit is at the moment does limit interesting flight models like the -8. However guys, a -8 coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator is certainly nice for me. It's an aircraft I did actually want to fly. Flybe was probably one of the airlines I wanted to fly for, so I mean that's certainly interesting for me. Now, something I was thoroughly impressed with, something that completely went over my head, is the 2 A350s that are being developed. We've got one Freeware and one Payware, and I have to say, both are progressing really well. Looking on the screen now, we've got some Freeware pictures, and my goodness guys, I cannot believe this is Freeware. It's looking amazing already. I can just tell this is going to be a winner. From the design on the engine, to the fuselage, to the raccoon mask on the cockpit, it's looking very good. Digital Flight Designs have a Discord, so if you'd like to keep up to date with the progress of this aircraft, I highly recommend you join it. A Freeware A350 is honestly perfect. I mean, who doesn't love free stuff? Keep it up, guys. Moving on the screen now, we've got the Project 350 by Sim4Flight. Now this is a Payware A350, and once again it's looking very nice. They seem to have progressed a bit more than the Freeware company in terms of the cockpit, along with some images of the fuselage and even the interior. Therefore I'd say they're probably a bit further progressed than the Freeware A350, although I'm not too sure. It just looks like it from what we can see now. Now the 3D render of the cockpit is looking superb already. Starting to look like an A350 with a very spacious cockpit. And of course, having interior pictures is very nice. A Payware A350, I'm not too sure how much it would cost. I haven't really heard of Sim4Flight before. But you know, it is what it is. I don't imagine it would be too expensive, because I don't believe it will be 100% study level, but I might be proved wrong. Now, something a lot of you guys are excited for is the MadDog. The MD-80 is under development for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but the software development kit is limiting it at the moment, so you guys have got to be patient. However, we've got some very nice screenshots. Now to me, of course, these look like previous ports, so I don't believe the aircraft in its final form will look anything close to this, because let's be honest, if it's a Flight Simulator export, it's going to look pretty ugly. However, I don't believe it will be. Now the team at Leonardo's iconic flight sim add-on FlyTheMadDog X is under active development. You can't really say much more than this. It's looking very nice, even if this is just a Flight Simulator export. Now you guys know it will take some time to get these to study level aircraft because the SDK isn't 100% there yet. So again with this, 2 to 3 years I'd probably say, seeing as this is a larger project than the -8. But as always, I'm not a developer, so it might be earlier, it might be later. But I think with models like this, it's probably going to be later than it is earlier. Now, on this one, I'm not 100% sure, although I believe TFDI Design will release the MD-11 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Don't hold me to it, guys. We've got a KC-10 Freeware coming along as well, as I mentioned in the last video. Now this was a post released on May the 3rd, 2020, so quite a while back now. And they did say they are monitoring Microsoft Flight Simulator, and due to the popularity, I imagine it would be ported over. It'd be nice to have an MD-11, a slightly old retro airliner in the sim. I think it would feel quite at home. Now, in the last video, part 1 of all aircraft coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, I talked about a Payware A220 coming soon. Well, everybody, we've got a Freeware A220 by TapDesigns, and it's looking absolutely amazing. Now, progress on this has been pretty rapid, really, because this was originally made for X-Plane 11, so they've had something to base it off. And I have to say, this aircraft is looking beautiful. I'm actually amazed by the high quality standards we're seeing with Freeware aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's hope TapDesigns keep it up. It's looking absolutely amazing. It's looking really nice, guys. From the engine to even the cockpit, progress is really solid so far. I honestly can't wait for the A220. It's going to be beautiful to fly out of London City. Progress wise, I'd imagine we'd see this in just over or just under a year. I really don't think it will take much longer, seeing as they do seem to be doing a pretty good job already. But once again, guys, I'm not a developer, so I can't really comment, but by the looks of it, TapDesigns and their main developer Noga are doing very well with the progress. Keep it up, it's looking fantastic. Now, we've talked about the Aerosoft CIJ, but did you know Aerosoft are working on a whole series of Airbus aircraft? Now, this will include the A320, the A321, and the A318 and A319 pack, as well as the A330. Now, Airbus have worked on these aircraft before, I believe, for P3D, so it'll be nice to see them moved over. Now, of course, with Aerosoft, you cannot expect high-quality aircraft to come out quickly, because they do a fantastic job. So, 2 to 3 years on these, I'd reckon, probably by 2023 at the latest. Seeing as they're working on the CIJ, that is their main focus on the moment. We haven't got too many screenshots, we've just got this basic model here, but as I said, progress hopefully will get on rather quickly once they get the CIJ out. Now, Aerosoft will of course be Payware, so you can't expect anything for free from Aerosoft because of the high quality, and I'd imagine it will be study level. Certainly an interesting development. I'm so glad Aerosoft are working on the Airbus family, especially the A330. It's going to be great. Now, I talked about MilViz, military visualizations, in the previous video. They were working on a smaller aircraft, but it turns out they're also working on a 737-200. Now, this is an aircraft I've actually studied quite a bit in my free time as I was doing a project on the autopilot, the Sperry SP-77, I believe, in this one. So it's an aircraft I'm actually really excited for. Now, alongside the 737-200, we'll also be getting the T50 Bobcat and the 310R. The 310R, of course, I talked about in the last video. Now, we've got some look of the cockpit, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice. Now, it's unclear whether MilViz is simply porting over their existing P3D aircraft or building them up from scratch. But looking at the previews, it is likely that the 3 aircrafts are being ported, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means they've got to bring it up to Microsoft Flight Simulator standard, and of course, if they're lazy and don't, then they'll receive a lot of backlash. The 737 cockpit is looking very nice, although you can easily tell it is a port. And looking at the exterior, you can see it doesn't match up to Microsoft Flight Simulator standard, so they've got some work to do here, but overall a very exciting aircraft. We've got the T310R on the screen, and that's looking better, I'll have to say. Although, of course, they need to bring up the exterior model to Microsoft Flight Simulator standard. Now, I'm pretty sure these are quite old screenshots from late October, early November time, so just bear that in mind, guys. Of course, MilViz, I reckon, will be Payware, although I'm not too sure on the price. Now, an aircraft I'm incredibly excited for is the Freeware 757 by Parallel Flight Simulations, the 757-200. It is looking absolutely marvellous, even getting down into the nitty-gritty details now, such as the MCD or FMC to be exact. Looking at the exterior model, I really am excited for this one. It'll be lovely to fly the flying pencil in the sim. It will feel right at home. The good thing about the 757 is that it's not too old, but it's also not too new. So it kind of combines modern and, of course, slightly older avionics, meaning it is a bit more challenging than your 747-8. I really do like it. And, of course, it will take some time to get used to the flight model. But overall, I'm really excited for this one. Parallel Simulations' main developer is in my Discord server, so I don't really know how I missed it in the first video. But anyway, guys, here is Parallel Flight Simulations 757. Certainly a lot to be excited for. Now, once again, DC Designs shares some more aircraft that they're working on. I know people are a bit funny about DC Designs, but I do think generally they're pretty good developers. Now, DC Designs have announced another aircraft, the Stearman biplane. It looks marvellous, but also we've got some news about the aircraft they'll be releasing after that as well. First of all, it'll be the Stearman biplane, then it'll be the F-14D Tomcat, and then, big news, Concorde. Concorde shouldn't be too far away, seeing as Microsoft Flight Simulator has finally allowed true Mach 1, Mach 2 flight. They've also released a development update for how to improve the F-15, or how they're going to improve the F-15, so a lot to look at here. The F-15 was met with mixed reviews, some praising it and some not praising it basically, and to be fair I can understand both sides of the argument. On the one side it is one of the first mainstream military jets in the SIB, and on the other side it did fall short in a lot of places. So improving it is always going to be a winner. So a biplane, another biplane, I think that's like our third Payware biplane coming to the sim now. We've had quite a few, it would appear. Now moving over to another Payware general aviation aircraft, we've got the Piper PA-28R Arrow 3. Now this is a very popular general aviation aircraft that kind of is in competition with Cessna. Of course I don't believe they're made anymore though, because it is quite old. Now we've got loads of screenshots for this one. I believe JustFlight will be releasing it pretty soon, because let's be honest, it's looking rather well built already. They've even made all the liveries so far, so they've been really good with providing the sim community on development updates and general updates with it really. I mean, it is looking superb. From the cockpit to the exterior model to the iPad, this really is going to be a game changer for many general aviation pilots, and hopefully we'll see it within a few months. Looking very nice, I have to say. So there we have it guys, part 2 of all aircraft coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm pretty sure I've included 99% of all the aircraft coming to the sim now. I went through your comments and checked if anyone had any other suggestions. I also should say that JustFlight are working on more aircraft in the future. I believe the Tucano is up there as well, although we got one of them as seen in the previous video. So I haven't been talking about speculated aircraft, but I've been talking about aircraft that have been confirmed. Certainly a lot to look forward to guys. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. Part 2 of all aircraft coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I believe I've got roughly all of them. I've specified what ones are Payware and what ones are Freeware in better detail in this video, so I hope that clears up some of the stuff that I messed up in the last video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, if you guys want to become a member of my channel, click that join button for exclusive perks ranging from business class perks to first class perks. Thanks for watching guys, it's been a pleasure once again. Have a fantastic day, bye bye.